So we're here playing the Quiet Sleep. Um, we're just about to submit this build, so I would really appreciate any feedback you could give us or any bugs you find, that kind of thing. So let's dive right in. So chapter 1 is moving in, where we have this adulthood trait that we just got and this new goal to wake up. So let's take a look at that. So to wake up, we're going to need 2 energy, and right now all we have is this thing, which is our will mine, which makes will, and this trait. Now in this trait, which is our trait of adulthood, you see we can build an energy spring. So we'll just put that down because that's going to give us the energy we need and hook things up like so. So what we did here is to build this energy spring that requires will, which we produce here. So we've set up a train of thought that'll go to this will mine, pick up the will, and deliver it here. And we've set up a path for it to go down. So now we're just going to let that run, and you can see we're picking up the will, delivering it here. And look at that, we're done. So now we want to wake up, which requires energy. So we're going to click on this energy mine, and click on ourselves to start the train, and that's going to run. Meanwhile, this will mine is free. So let's use that to build a second will mine. And so that'll let us get through things faster. And there you go. We have completed waking up. So now we can unpack and we can start placing these towers to help us do chores. And to unpack, coincidentally, we need chores. But right now both our will mines are, well, one is not complete and the other one is building the first one. So again, this requires chores. And right now we have nothing that produces chores. So we're going to build this do chores tower that takes energy and converts it to chores. And happily we're already making energy over there. So now we just start the train to build that, and we let things run. Meanwhile, we have this free will mine, so I'm just going to build a second energy spring over here, because energy is very important. We're going to want a lot of energy. So anyway, all of this is running and this is done. So we'll just start this train. See, chores, energy, and then link it back to the self. Meanwhile, all of this is going on. We don't really have anything we want to build, and anyway, we've run out of time to build. So now we have a paint tower, to read a letter from home and to explore the city. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at this. Exploring the city just requires 3 energy, so we'll hook that up fairly quickly. It's pretty straightforward. And to read a letter from home requires will, which is also easy. We've got that will right there. But that's going to make us emotional. So we're going to put down a paint tower to help us deal with those emotions. Like so. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we may as well connect this whole thing. Just get that nice loop in case we need it. So now we're building this paint tower, we're completing that, and look at that, it's day 2. I'll just let these run a little bit, and now we'll hook this paint tower up to that energy, which I'm glad we made, and we'll hook this up to the will, so we'll get that completed too. Oh dear, so that goes over here. And so over here is the trait that came from building this, right? Where now we're sad because we're missing our home. And so that's going to produce sadness from here. And that sadness is going to want to go to ourself. And you can see we have no defenses set up there. So what we're actually going to do is remove this path, which makes everything less efficient that has to go through here. But it's going to force this emotion to come down here by our paint tower. And while we're doing that, we're going to build a second paint tower here to help with our defenses. Also, we finished exploring the city, and that gave us this new trait, the city trait, in which we can build the towers to travel and to walk. Where like painting, walking helps us deal with emotions, and traveling, like doing chores, converts energy, except to travel this time. Over here you see two new goals. We can become a cleaner, or we can become a cabbie. So we're just going to let all of this run a little bit. So there you see the sadness, but it passed by this paint tower, which took care of it. That's not too bad, but oh, here we've got double the sadness, one right after the other. And that's going to be harder to deal with. So anyway, we finished reading the letter from home, and that gave us a new trait, the homeland, and a new goal to meet a new person. So we'll deal with that in a second. If you look at the homeland, we can build a work ethic, or thoughts of home here, which make industry and energy respectively. But first, let's take a look at this. So you watch these two trains. That first one got hit, but the second one went right through, and so we've lost control. Right? And because we've lost control, we can't do anything for a couple of seconds here. Right? So you can watch that tick down. But now that it's happened, you see we're not feeling so emotional anymore. And also, thankfully, we've built our second paint tower here. So we can actually hook that up if we choose. I'm not going to do that right now, though. I'm going to start getting us a job. So for that we need a travel tower, which requires will. And we're also going to want more energy. Right now we have enough energy to get us by, but we're going to want more. So we're going to use the adulthood trait for this one, and then we'll probably have to put a couple in our homeland trait as well. Let's just let all of this run. So as you can see, we're still getting flashbacks of the sadness, but this is done. So now we can connect that up. We'll become a cleaner this time. So we'll start this up, and we'll also start painting. So now we've got a nice solid defense against emotions, hopefully. Which is good because we keep getting these flashbacks. So now we're in chapter 2, fitting in. Time to see what this city has to offer. Right, and meanwhile we're just getting our job, trying to deal with our anger, oh, that one's going to get us. It's these flares sometimes. Sometimes you just feel really emotional. Okay, so now we've completed becoming a cleaner. Right, so essentially we have a job. So what does that mean? That means we've got a couple new towers here. Right? One is this clean tower, which takes chores and industry and gives us work. Now what we should have been doing all this time, but we weren't doing, is developing out our homeland trait. That's cool, can do that now, it's no big deal. So we'll just set up all of these paths here, just in case. And yeah, I think that's what we want to do right now. So we'll build this clean tower here with all of this free will that we have, and we'll build a work ethic. Right, and we'll just let those run. So now you can see we're not getting as sad anymore, but we have all of this anger coming up. Right, and that's from the casual racism we got when becoming a cleaner. And we can use this anger, we can generate frustration out of it and convert that frustration into energy, which might be useful because we do need energy, but it's poorly positioned and it's a little dangerous because, as you can see, we're already struggling with all of the emotions we're getting. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a work shift. So you can see in the city we can build both towers and goals. This work shift requires work, which is a thing we now have from here. I'm going to set that up like so, and let that run. And I think we'll also meet a person if we can. The biggest problem is energy, just a little short on energy, so we'll start building thoughts of home over here. Help generate a little more energy. Sadly, we've built the 3 energy springs we're allowed from the adulthood, so we can't build that anymore over here. Again, I'm getting energy from the homeland instead of from the anger that we were feeling because it was closer to the city and so a little more convenient for us. So right now, that's all getting done. So we can start this train, right, like so, and we'll just let that run a bit. Right, it's nice to get some money. We can definitely use some money. And now we've met a new person, and it turns out it's the pretty person. Let's take a look at the pretty person. Again, we can spend time with this person and flirt with this person, and we can chat with this person, or ask the pretty person out. But right now, I think we're just going to get a little... Well, no. Let's start spending time with this person. I think we've got the bandwidth, and you can see we're not actually feeling very emotional right now. So what that means is I'm going to turn off this tower and help get us some... basically, the more trains of thought you have, the less efficient you are as a whole. So by turning this off, we're just going to add a little bit of efficiency to us. And we still have this one to deal with things that come up, like, again, the casual racism we faced during our work shift. Right, and that should be good enough. And we did finish this, so I'm just going to put down this tower too. And why not? We'll also set up this goal. Right, because I do want to ask this person out on a date, and I don't really want to wait much longer than I have to. Oh, and we are in chapter 3. It begins. And you know what? I'm actually going to stop the recording right here. So, take a look. Try out the game. This should have taught you how to play. Yeah, have fun.